Call this meeting to order October 15th, 2019, 6 p.m. Begin with public comment session, just as point of order, 4 minutes. Hold up the 1 minute remaining and then flip it over when we get to time's up so I don't interrupt. And we'll begin with Mr. Adams.
I get used to this new system. But I'm going to go back to the last council meeting, follow up on what Mr. Matthew Durham talked about this year's budget, that the millage had to be up due to the underestimate of the value of the tax mill back in when the budgeting started early this year. I'm going to pick on you, Mr. McCall, a little bit, but I just want everybody to know I still love you, okay? I believe you can take it. You know, you defended the county's spending plan, and I can understand that, but I know you've been up there on, what, 2 terms now, maybe three terms? 3 terms. In those 3 terms, how many times has a savings plan come up? Now, I know you can't respond because Mr. Root explained that to me a few months ago when I was questioning Mr. Davis there, so I don't expect you to respond. But you guys need to listen to yourself sometime. Not just you, Columbia, Washington, D.C. It's got to be a spend. No savings. I know when the budgeting started last, February, when Ms. Brockball brought her first proposal in here. One of her first statements, we're fast approaching $50 million. Now, don't take this wrong. I'm not proud of that because it's coming from right there. You guys need to realize you're not spending your money. You're spending my tax money and everybody else's tax money in here. You just need to listen to yourselves. The $50 million county budget, that's just a county. When you throw the school district in there, it's the smoke and mirrors a little bit here. When you throw what taxpayers pay for the school district, what does it come up to? 94 million? Throw that in there too. I know, just listen to yourselves. It's easy to spend somebody else's money. We thought we had a $1.7 million increase automatically built in because the estimate to tax bill value went up. And some of that disappeared. We lost that gamble. We had to add mills back to make up for that. And like I made the statement once before, I don't think I heard anybody saying about the government sharing that increase with the taxpayers. We didn't look at decreasing the county budget. All we looked at was dipping deeper into the taxpayer's pocket to make up that underestimate. It's supposed to be a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And managing budgets is the most important job y'all got up there. It's just that simple. Just listen to yourself sometime. You hear others mention, like, don't get me wrong, I know you wasn't bragging about the 50 million. It's sort of a milestone. I ain't gonna say what I want to say. It ain't no milestone because it's coming out of my pocket. Just remember that.
Fine.
Gene Jennings.
Good evening. I'm Jean Jennings. I noticed today after I got here, 2 things that's on the agenda tonight that I'm going to be speaking about, also adding the Red Cross to that. First of all, let me say that I appreciate our daily bread. Our daily rest, and other agencies like that help people. But when these agencies are formed and set up to operate, They're set up to operate on donations. There should be no taxpayers' money or grant money used. Grant money is also taxpayer money. Same way with the Kids' Christmas Fund. This was set up by Mr. Jerry Edwards and others through the Seneca Journal paper. It was set up to operate on donations, and that's the way it should be. We had this situation earlier at a county council meeting. Another agency was wanting help from the county council to operate. It was also set up to operate by donations. I believe Mrs. Brock, our administrator, had requested this at that meeting and had asked for help for this agency. The county council approved it and voted on it. I didn't agree with it then, and I don't agree with it tonight. If there's extra money to be spent, you need to give it back to the taxpayers instead of raising their taxes. And as far as the Red Cross is concerned, I was director of the Red Cross for several years in Oconee County. It has two programs it's mandated to do, and that is service to military and disaster. And disaster homelessness is quite different from this Our Daily Bread. They lose their homes by fire or another type of disaster. But anyway, another thing I wanted to talk about was the Sheriff's Department. I would like to see the records on our previous sheriff and on their last year that they were sheriff, on the budget, the population of the county, see what that was, how much equipment and vehicles was bought, how many employees there were and hired, and how many emergencies where they asked for extra money. The same with the present sheriff. Last year's budget, population of the county at that time, how much equipment was bought, how many vehicles was bought, how many new employees was hired, how many emergencies were where he asked for more money. Thank you.
Matt Durham.
Good evening. As mentioned, I'm Matt Durham. I'm here not to continue speaking about the tax increase and really you guys' response to my comments last meeting. Mr. Davis, you stated that you view yourself as very fiscally responsible. I guess that's the case of self-perception not meeting reality. I have here an article from the Anderson Independent dated June 6, 2016. It's when Mr. Davis was then candidate Julian Davis. He was quoted as saying, "Raising taxes on individuals should be a last resort. We have a great tax basis in Oconee County, but we continue to overspend and create mistakes that cost our taxpayers money. It seems we are not respecting our tax money, our citizens' tax money." I have a question for you guys. Raising taxes on individuals should be the last resort. Was this the last resort? Can you look us in the eye and say you did everything you could to keep from raising our taxes? Mr. Elliott, as the last elected member on this board, I know for a fact that you campaign on restoring the fund balance and getting financial control. Mr. Davis, you go on here to say, as a small business owner, I understand how to work by a budget. It's not what you make, it's what you spend that causes the issue. You know, I agree with you 100% everything you said here as a candidate running for office. District 4, they agree with you. That's why they voted for you to put you in office. But we know now that it was just talk. That's all it was talk. And it's time now to stop talking and start doing what you said you do and what you told the citizens you do when you asked for them to vote for you. Thank you, that's all.
Mr. Barnett.
For the record, I'm Jerry Barnett, and I guess y'all know who you are. It's great to wake up in the morning and know who you are and what you stand for, like myself. If you'll notice, I never waver, never change. It's always the same message from we, the people, in the rural community. At the last council meeting, you had a face-to-face with the Planning Commission. And I listened to the babble and the blather from self-appointed traffic engineers in relation to the so-called Carter Project. Now look, how many times we got to say this? This is a state road. The state hires people at our expense to study this traffic. If anything needs to be done on 123, the state will certainly take care of it. And y'all irritating the state in any way, shape, form, or fashion does not help matters. And I promise you, that's what's going on. You may think you're having some influence on them. I promise you, you are. You're having an influence on we the people too. Now, as Mr. Adams said, you need to look in the mirror. Consider the people that you're sworn to represent. You know, I think some of you have betrayed the people that you're sworn to represent. And, you know, it's time for you to take a good long look. The spending of our money, you know, I agree with Mr. Adams, totally. And it's time to try to bring a little common sense, if we can find any, back to county government. Thank you.
All right. Councilmember comments. All right. Moment of silence. Thank you. Mr. Root?
Yes, sir. Pray with me if you'd like to. Father, give me the words to pray, so that I don't pray from myself, but pray from your wisdom. First, thank you that we have this opportunity to be free, to gather together in this deliberative assembly and to have voices heard and to have council members have the freedom to act on that, and for staff to have the opportunities to help. And so help us all by your strength, again, by your wisdom, to do our jobs, to take responsibility, not for ourselves so much, but for our neighbor, for our eye and for our focus to be on others. And as we enter into this winter and the holiday season, for that to be particularly acute, that our focus is on others, that you give us a heart for others and not for ourselves first. In your name I pray. Amen.
Mr. McCall, will you lead us in the pledge, please?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have 2 minutes to approve. First is October 1st, 2019 council special workshop with Planning Commission. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Second.
Changes, amendments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Second is October 1st, 2019 regular council minutes. Do we have a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Second.
Any changes? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Ms. Brock?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Council, and welcome to the Oconee County Council meeting. I see a few recently new familiar faces. Looks like we've got some more joining us on a regular basis, and that's always great. And we have some old familiar faces from Mrs. Turetsky the late Mr. Vince Tretzky's widow here, along with some folks from Folks, Friends of Lake Huey Society, as we honor Mr. Tretzky this evening. On the agenda as well, we do have a couple of matters for the ADA restroom upgrades for Shaw Ram and High Falls County Parks. These, if you'll notice, came earlier in the year, in the spring, and because of the change in our scope in building and having our staff help and assist do the groundwork for this, these have come back for your approval this evening. This is no change on what was brought to you before. This is just something that's come back with the changes that we made from the previous vote.
We'll move into proclamation 2019. Mr. Elliott, will you read this proclamation for us?
Whereas Ben Tretzky, a resident of Salem, South Carolina, dedicated nearly 20 years of his life to the preservation of natural resources in Oconee County, leaving an indelible legacy and positively impacting the quality of lives for generations to come. And whereas Mr. Tretzky served Friends of Lake Huey Society for more than 15 years in various capacities and was a regular contributor to the Sentinel, a bi-monthly publication that focuses on initiatives to keep Lake Huey pristine. And whereas Mr. Tretzky embodied the mission of Folks, preserve, protect, and enhance Lake Huey and its watershed through conservation, science education, and good governance, so that the lake remains clean, safe, beautiful for the community, users, visitors, area businesses, and future generations. And whereas Mr. Tretzky put in countless hours working with various organizations on the Kiwi Taxaway relicensing project, the Habitat Enhancement Program, the Adopt an Island Program, the Lake Sampling Program, and the Rain Barrel Program. And whereas Mr. Tretzky received the prestigious Duke Energy Citizen and Service Award for making a difference in the community by donating his time, energy, and talents to positively impact the lives of others. And whereas Mr. Tretzky focused his efforts on many issues, including but not limited to promoting recycling and natural lakeside buffers, educating the public on the importance of boater safety, and resolving the need for privately purchased buoys over the years. And whereas Mr. Tretzky advocated to local and state government agencies to establish policies and procedures for the protection of the land and water within Oconee County and the state of South Carolina. Now, therefore, we, the County Council, do hereby recognize and express sincere gratitude to Mr. Tretzky for all his contributions to Lake Huey, Lake Jocassee, and Oconee County as a whole.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We do have his wife Reggie here, and on behalf of everything working with Ben over the years, I appreciate and I just want to stand for him because I just appreciate all he did. I know y'all, would you like to say a little bit from folks? Come all the way up under the green speaker over here. Trying to get there. Excuse me.
Good evening. My name is Doug Hoff. I'm on the board of directors for Folks, and we deeply appreciate the recognition from the County Council on all the work Ben Tretzky has done through the years. For many, many years, he's been the heart, the soul, the backbone, and the brains behind folks, and it has made an enormous difference in Oconee County and the life there for visitors, for lakefront people, and for residents in general. We deeply appreciate the county's acknowledgement of his work and the time spent here this evening to present this to his wife. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Elliott, for that. We will open up public hearing, ordinance 2019-21. This is an ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of an amended fee agreement between Oconee County and ACI Plastics South LLC, including the inclusion of ACI Properties South LLC and Green Cycle U.S. Holdings Incorporated as co-sponsors, and amending the fee agreement dated as of October 1st, 2014, and other matters related thereto. No one has signed up for public hearing ordinance 2019-21. If you'd like to speak, you can come forward. Any written comments can be delivered to our clerk of council, Ms. Smith. All right, I'll move to close public hearing on ordinance 2019-21. Move to open public hearing ordinance 2019-22, ordinance authorizing Oconee County, South Carolina to finance and acquire certain fire trucks and related equipment in the amount not to exceed $2,300,000 to execute and deliver all documents necessary to carry out the financing and acquisition and other related matters thereto. No one has signed up for public hearing ordinance 2019-22. If you'd like to come forward now, you can. All written comments can be delivered to you there. Mr. Barnett, go ahead. Yes, sir. Just state your name for the record.
Again, I'm Jerry Barnett. This is one of the things that we've elected you people for, to fund public safety. This may be the most important work that y'all have done. These people need our 100% support, because like our military, they're the best of the best. That includes our fire and our sheriff's department. You know, so once again, this is the most important thing that you'll ever do. We want to squawk about spending. Cut your spending somewhere else. For God's sake, don't cut it here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barnett. Any others for ordinance 2019-22? Again, any written comments could be received to Ms. Smith. Move to close ordinance 2019-22. Move into third reading, ordinance 2019-21. This is the execution with ACI Plastics. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Third reading, ordinance 2019-22. This is the finance and acquire certain fire trucks. Do I have a motion to approve?
Second.
All right. Any statements? All in favor?
Mr. Chair,
Nope,
I'd
sorry.
like to say something.
Yes.
There's been discussion about a tax increase, which through a number of meetings, a number of months, was no surprise that that's where, unfortunately, this county was headed. And here's an exhibit of, I think, a very wise use of public funds. Unfortunately, for many years, this county did not adequately fund capital equipment. And finally, this council has chosen to bite the bullet, stop kicking the can down the road, and invest in the assets that are necessary to protect the life and safety, property of this county. And I'm not proud of a tax increase, but I'm proud that this council had the courage to fund necessary and very important parts of this government, which here we're paying for fire trucks and other related equipment. So we're not even all the way there yet, but we're making progress, and I think it's important that we note that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? We have no second readings, no first readings. We do have a first and final reading for the following resolution, 2019-20, resolution authorizing the amendment of an agreement to develop a joint county industrial and business park by and between Oconee County, South Carolina, and Pickens County, South Carolina, to provide for the expansion of the boundaries of the multi-county industrial business park created thereby to include certain additional property located in Pickens County and other matters related thereto. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Do I have a motion second? Any other comments? Ms. Brock, will you quickly explain this? Anytime we bring it up every single year, I like the explanation.
Actually, I believe Mr. Chairman, if
That
you
would be
wouldn't
great.
mind, would be better at explaining the specific one.
Sure, Mr. Chairman, if I may, anytime that the county wants to provide economic development incentives, for the most part, it enters into a multi-county industrial park agreement with a sister county, a contiguous county, Pickens or Anderson, for the most part, Pickens. Pickens County, when we do a deal with somebody, will get 1% per year of the fee revenue. We've had a lot of those projects, and Pickens has got that 1% a lot of times, so it's essentially free money. During the last, we'll say, couple years, Pickens has had projects where they have looked to us as opposed to another county to be their sister county, and so now we are essentially getting that, quote, free money, and this is one of those deals where they have had an expansion or two, really, in projects within their jurisdiction. And they've increased the size of the multi-county industrial park, so we're getting an increase in our 1%.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, because they do the same back to us, and we appreciate the 1% back, so. Any other comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. We do have discussion regarding action items. This is design and build services for new offices, 88 restrooms for Charles Ram, and new park shelter storage at High Falls County Park, Oconee PRT, Charles Ram, and High Falls County Park. The total amount at Charles Ram is $438,567. High Falls, $419,873. And $44,167 a contingency for the total award of $902,602. The local ATAX is providing $200,000. The Economic Development Millage Fund, $427,602, and the General Fund, $275,000, for a total of, again, the $902,602. Staff's recommendation that council approve the award RFP 1902 Design Build Services for Charles Ram and High Falls County Parks to J. Davis Construction Incorporated of Westminster, South Carolina, in the amount of $858,440, plus contingency in the amount of $44,162 for the total award of $902,602, and two, to authorize county administrator to execute documents for this project and sign any change orders within the contingency amount. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
once again, councils prior had kicked the can down the road on a number of initiatives that were recommended numerous times. I mean, every year since I've been on the council, since going through the budget cycle since 2015, it was requested that we approve funding for ADA restrooms so that we would comply with that federal law. Until now, we haven't had the funding to do that. So while I'm not proud of a tax increase, I am proud to make our parks accessible for those with disabilities. So I thank this council for finding that to be of value. And I think that the citizens of this county will be proud. We didn't build these parks. I'm very glad we have them, but we're stewards of them and we have to take care of them. And sometimes that requires funding. So here we are spending close to a little over $900,000 to improve an asset for generations to come. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other comments? And I'll be abstaining from the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Ms. Smith, if you'll bring that up to me, dear Brett. Thank you. We do have Law Enforcement Center repairs at Oconee County Sheriff's Office. We do have Davison Electrical and Plumbing Incorporated, $68,000. Eagle Interiors Incorporated, $72,500. MCG Mechanical Services, $91,587. 10% contingency built into the bid, $23,208.70. Total request, $255,295.70. It's staff's recommendation that one, approve the award for electrical repairs to Davis Electrical and Plumbing Incorporated of Walhalla, South Carolina, in the amount of $68,000. Two, approve the award for framing, insulation, and sheetrock to Eagle Interiors Incorporated of Seneca, South Carolina, in the amount of $72,500. Three, approve the award for HVAC to MCG Mechanical Services of Anderson, South Carolina, in the amount of $91,587. And four, approve a 10% contingency in the amount of $23,208.70 to be used if needed for the above construction projects, and to authorize the county administrator to sign any change orders within the contingency amount of $23,208.70. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Next, we have request for council approval for funding allocation in the amount of $20,000 for our daily rest.
Mr. Davis, if I could.
Yes,
just jump
please.
in for all three of these items, since it was brought up. We have three, essentially, I guess, what could be styled as charitable contributions on behalf of the county. I know these were brought up during the budget process, but as they were discussed tonight, just to make sure that y'all, of course, know the parameters and the public does, so long as a donation, quote, such as these meet a public purpose, they're lawful, and the parameters for meeting a public purpose would be that they're essentially promoting the general public health, welfare, prosperity, contentment of the citizens within the county. That doesn't mean they have to benefit every member of the county, but that they benefit general populations as opposed to money going to a particular individual. And obviously, all three of these are geared toward poverty, all three of which I think would benefit probably children, and our courts have held that society has a transcendent interest in protecting the welfare of children. So I just wanted to put that out there so you all know, if you discuss this, what the boundaries are. When you give this money out, it has to meet a public purpose. Obviously, all three of these entities have put in supporting materials as to why their requests meet that purpose.
Ms. Brock, did you have anything on?
Sir?
Did I get everything that you needed?
Yes, sir. I believe we have everything that we need here.
I'll go back to this request for council approval, funding allocation, the amount of $20,000 for our daily rest. Our daily rest celebrated its 10th year of operation, August 2019. They've offered a hand up for second chance for over 2,000 homeless individuals. They stated this will not be possible without the support and partnership of Oconee County. Ms. Richardson, would you like to speak about that?
Sure.
Council members and observers, we have served over 2,000 individuals that were homeless, and most are now housed. This year alone, we've served 147 individuals and families. Among those, 31 are children. It's more children than we've served in the whole 5 years I've been there. This year has been huge for that, and we've got 3 months to go. So It's needed. We have about a 70% success rate in getting our clients back on their feet with jobs, supporting themselves, and housed. And they tend to stay that way for the most part. We have clients and graduates in all walks of life. You can go into any business in Oconee County and you might wonder which ones are graduates from our daily rest, because they're in almost every type of job in town. Many are managers, some have moved on to other states, and they've become leaders where they go from their humble beginnings. We take your money, the money that you have supported us with for the entire time that I've been the director, so 5 years now. We double that money by using it as a match for a grant. And so it goes twice as far as it would otherwise. We use that money to pay the bills, to pay the awesome staff that I have that contributes to the success of our clients. We use it to pay other bills as well. And then the grant money kicks in and we're able to double that and do it again. I would like to thank each of you and all of you for your support and your investment, because I know and our clients know that it is an investment in their future. Thank you.
We have a motion and a second, correct, Ms. Smith? We don't have it, okay. All right, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye. And all abstain from that. We do have request for council approval for funding allocation in the amount of $15,000 for American Red Cross Upstate South Carolina chapter. Ms. Amanda Brock?
Yes, sir. A representative from the Red Cross was unable to attend tonight. I'm not asking on their behalf. I'm asking on what they had sent in, simply as a requester on their behalf, but not on behalf of their organization. So the Red Cross obviously has provided services to disaster military, and now they're taking on a separate approach. They're doing disaster preparedness, seeing as most of the homes who suffer 90% or greater destruction in the upstate area are without smoke detectors, and the emergency services departments of counties and governments alone do not tip the iceberg with that as much as we try. Their three-prong approach has taken to the streets, and they are beginning to provide those services again for school children as well. I'm just going to briefly read from the statement we were provided regarding services in Oconee County. Again, the three-prong approach is the preparedness, the response to disaster and emergency recovery, and to recover to ensure that survivors have long-term plans and access to resources they need to stabilize families and gather their future. And over the last 3 years, there have been 73,000 smoke alarms distributed in the state of South Carolina and 65 documented lives saved. Vulnerable populations are targeted for preparedness services in Oconee County, where 459 smoke alarms have been installed, 178 homes have been made safer through in-home safety checks and fire escape planning, and 438 people in Oconee County have been served through their preparedness services, making Oconee County households safer and better prepared should a fire or emergency strike. During the last fiscal year, the American Red Cross helped 23 volunteers in Oconee County, along with volunteers across the upstate, and locally here in Oconee County responded to 47 individual disaster situations. Most of those were fires. They also provided 147 individuals with hope, food, shelter, and comfort, as well as personal guidance and assistance to help survivors in Oconee County become stronger and more resilient in their disaster recovery. Sometimes that process is very long, and the Red Cross provides mental and physical counseling for victims of house fires as well. And in addition to that, provided more than $50,000 in direct financial assistance to Oconee County families to meet the needs to help stabilize their living situations in the transition period after response to the emergency. As you can see in your backup materials, their financials are also included in the documentation here. I wish I could answer questions. I may be able to answer some generalized questions, but specifically, I don't have anything other than this.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right. Next, we'll move on to Christmas Kids. Mr. Edwards?
Good evening, gentlemen. Got a quick PowerPoint for you. Amanda asked me to share with you a little bit about what we do. Oh, I get to run it too. How?
You don't have to.
No, I can just tilt it forward and back.
Actually, you're going to point that direction.
It doesn't work, Katie can click.
Turn it on.
Turn it on.
On the side, please.
It's okay. There we go. Okay, that'll work.
Turn it on. Sorry about that.
Give you a little background about Christmas for Kids. So you all know a little general information about children in there. For the last 19 years, Christmas for Kids has been close to my heart. I started it with coming out of the United Way was doing it prior to when we started working on their end, and then they gave it up and we ended up taking it over. But just so you know, in this county alone, approximately 2,200 children, or almost 20% of the children in this county, from birth through 17, receive some sort of care through either the Marine Corps, Christmas for Kids, local churches, and other organizations, Salvation Army. That's every year, guys, 20%. It's a big number, and it keeps growing. What do we do for the past 19 years? You know, we've been the one that is a backstop. We provide Christmas for children, we provide toys, we provide clothing for what they need. Nothing is more heartbreaking when a kid asks, when we ask them in the newspaper, we ask them to fill out what they'd like, and they put down underwear, socks, shoes, and maybe a winter coat. That's a 7-year-old boy. For the past 6 years, we've also been lucky enough because we found out that they didn't even have dinner for Christmas. A lot of them were eating hot dogs. So we were able to provide Christmas dinner for them, a traditional meal, usually a ham. And by the way, it has to be something that's already pre-cooked because a lot of them don't have stoves. Microwave is about the best they know, or McDonald's. Okay. Our mission statement is simple. We provide and distribute Christmas gifts and clothes to the needy children of Oconee County through generous donations made by residents, local businesses during the holiday season. But most importantly, we're the backup for every other charity. If the Salvation Army comes and they can only handle 220 children, every child after that comes to us. So we'll take everybody else, and we've never, in 19 years, had to say no. We're a 501c non-for-profit that we actually got accomplished last year and got all that finished up. We help local children of all ages from birth to 17. There's over 1,700 of volunteer hours were provided in 2018. Amanda and her daughter were part of that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We raise over $135,000 each year. That was last year. Actually, in 2008, we had to go up to almost $230,000 because we had 1,738 children. 90% of all our donations are used to purchase items for children. It's actually 91.6. I didn't have the exact numbers until I got it. So the remainder is spent a little bit on administration and staffing, and also getting an audit done. Over 85% of all of our donation funds that we collect are spent here in Oconee County. So those dollars stay here. There's what it looks like, folks. We started out with 259 families. I only went back to 2014. That graph could get really big. And 602 children. We're now up to 452 families and 1,012 children. By the way, the Marines that we work very close with, Toys for Tots, handled 756 children on top of ours. And by the way, those are non-duplicated because we shared the list. We are the largest 501c you have in the county. I didn't know that until Ms. Brock shared that information with me also. We provided Christmas to over 21,000 children in the past 19 years. We have received over $2 million in private donations since our inception. That's the people locally in this community. We only work for children in Oconee County. We don't go to Pickens or Anderson. It's everything is Oconee County. I'd hate to see what the children are in other needs out there. That's unbearable. We are currently, we are part of the Blue Ridge Electric Fest. They've hopefully going to award us one of their funds this year. We had to wait to be a 501c3. And we've applied for and understand we're going to receive the South Carolina Angel Award for Oconee County. We also are hoping to announce in the first quarter, second quarter of next year, a permanent home with the city of Seneca. We've been hopping around from building to building trying to find a place. Our last place was across from Lowe's, and it got filled in by the Dream Home. So we're currently going to be in Hometown Foods, the old Hometown Foods in Seneca for this year until we can get a permanent home. It's one negative of a positive economy right now is when you start filling up all the buildings, I start having to run around trying to find a place. Won't you join us? We only have 19 days from Thanksgiving, if you guys can believe that. Thanksgiving's November 28th, until to distribute toys to over 450 families and over 1,000 children. Our need is great and growing. As we said, we're asking the county for $25,000 to continue providing Christmas to all of the children that would not have a present under the tree on Christmas morning without us. Please help us help them. That's the best slide. Any questions?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Edwards, your request for 25,000 is I don't believe it's enough. We wish we could give you more. But, as Mr. Adams has said in earlier council comment session, we've not spent the money wisely. If I could, and I can, we could have took the money that we wasted on flying cars, water taxis, bicycle bridges, and the 123 corridor. We could have funneled that money to you, which would be in the tens of thousands. We could give a lot more to help the needy people of the county that you're trying to help and not waste it on dreams. Unless, of course, you got a flying car you want to sell me. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate anything we get. Like I said, this is an entire county project. Everybody, we have hundreds of people that donate everything from $100 to $5,000 to $10,000 to $50. I've been in Walmart, I've been in stores where people will walk up and give me $10 or $15 out of their pocket and ask us if they can help. They see us gathering toys and they want to join in. So we appreciate anything and everything. This time we think will help us get through. But guys, it is a problem. 20% of the children in this county are needing some sort of help. I've told you all several times, I'm scared to ask what happens the other 264 days out of the year, or 364 days out of the year. But one of these days we have to figure that out.
I have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. All right, council committee reports, transportation, Mr. Hart.
On October the 1st, 2019, at approximately 4 o'clock, I called the Transportation Committee meeting together, and Kyle Reed with the Bridges and Road Department came and discussed abandonment of a portion of Leonhardt Road, WA 156. Council had already approved a resolution 2017-09 before, but because the cul-de-sac had shifted, it had to be brought back before the committee. Mr. Davis made a motion, seconded by Mr. Kane, and the vote was 3-0 to continue moving this forward to the full committee. Mr. Reed also discussed revising Chapter 26 of the Oconee County Codes of Ordinance so that roads could be constructed within subdivisions. There was some trouble there with some of the restrictions, and we're going to try to weed those out. There was no action taken by the committee. The discussion of Willow Creek subdivision Phase 1, Mr. Reed stated that the road was in fair condition. Ms. Amy Gant, the developer, said she'd be glad to pay for the signs and work with Blue Ridge Electric regarding lighting. And her goal was to have Willow Creek Phase 1 accepted by the Oconee County Roads Commission. All of the right-of-ways have been finalized, and all the properties have been discussed with, and the property has been researched. And it is the consensus of the committee to schedule a special transportation meeting on Tuesday, December the 17th, 2019 at 4:30 to review the information that is being brought forward to the committee. And a motion to continue.
Council, lead council.
Do what?
Just request council. You can make that motion.
Okay. Or request council to make a motion to abandon part of
It's all over.
Reinhardt Road, Linhart Road to, recommended to the Transportation Committee from October the 1st, 2019.
Mr. Chairman and Mr. Hart, if I could, since we need to do that abandonment process formally, I drafted a resolution, and that's reflected in, right below that on the next page of the agenda, it's Resolution 2019-19. So you don't have to have that motion independently. You've got the resolution to vote on.
All right. The motion Mr. Hart stated is stated as Resolution 2019, resolution expressing intent to cease county maintenance on and to authorize county consent and pursuit of judicial abandonment and closure of a portion of Linhart Road and Oconee County Public Road and other matters related thereto. This is the motion that was approved 3-0 that came through the Transportation Committee meeting on 10/1/2019 as stated by Mr. Hart. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Second. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Mr. Hart. All right. Building Codes Appeal, just hanging out. Unfinished business, I do, if council will allow me to, I did receive a call today from Miss Emily DeRoberts from Duke Power, and she said, I wanted to give you an update on Fall Creek Landing. It has been approved, your request has been approved from Duke Power and the Army Corps of Engineers to do the riprap, as well as install a fence that will extend into the water to discourage people from accessing the island from land. We hope this will be enough to continue to make this area safer. It is our intent to do everything in our power to create the safest atmosphere that we can in this area. She also stated that this would be completed with intent, per weather obviously, by the end of the year. And so I'd like to make a statement to Mr. McCall that I appreciate your continuing bringing this up, bringing up boater safety, bringing up safety in this specific area. Is this 100% guarantee somebody's not going to be there and drown there? No, but I think it's a huge step in the right direction. So I wanted to share that with you today that we did find that out. There's no motion needed, but if any council member would like to make a comment on that, we are very appreciative of Duke Power and the Corps for moving forward with something that is a big issue. Any other council member comments on that?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to say thank you to Duke Energy and the Corps of Engineers and whoever else pushed this forward, because it's been a long time coming, and it's unfortunately no time like the present to hopefully prevent a few more deaths out there. But I wish we could have gotten something done sooner, but thank God we'll get something done hopefully by the end of the year.
Mr. Chairman. I would also like to thank Mr. McCall for bringing this issue to the front and keeping it on the front burner, because he has dedicated himself to looking out for what's going on the lake property. And again, I'd like to thank him for what he's done.
Any other comments? All right, no new business. We do have executive session. We do need a motion for 1, discussion regarding an economic development matter, Project Aztec. 2, discussion regarding an economic development matter, Project Zeta 2. 3, discussion regarding an economic development matter, Project Anvil. 4, discussion regarding personnel matters related to the facilities maintenance department. And 5, receive legal advice and discuss opioid litigation. Do I have a motion to enter an executive session?
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
to come out of executive session?
Make a motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
No action was taken in executive session. We actually don't have anything coming out, so I need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
All in favor, aye?
Acclamation. Look at that.